my channel. I wanted to share with you today my next design team project for Country Craft Creations. I made this 6x8 mini album. I used the Fairy Whispers paper collection from Blue Fern Studios. So I did mention 6x8, right? Yeah. So that's what it looks like, the front cover. Look at this gorgeous fairy. Looks like she's like looking up at the sun and just closing her eyes and loving the sun. Can you tell I'm ready for summer? Or spring. I'll take spring at this point. But anyway, look, she's got a beautiful butterfly in her hair. And it's kind of hard for you to see, but I did, oh, there you go. I did use Wink of Stella around pretty much everywhere on the cover, on the roses. I have these mulberry paper roses. The front is a shaker. Oh. Isn't that a great sound? I love that sound. So yeah, I just made a little sequins mix with sequins and beads that I have in my stash. This beautiful butterfly, this was a two separate wings that were in the ephemera pack, and I just used some rhinestones, some purple rhinestones, to make the butterfly body. And it's hard to see it, but I actually did make some little antenna from some wire that I have in my stash. Along the outside of the paper, you can see here the gold. See that gold? I used it just like I would use distress ink. You know, you use distress ink to ink your pages. But I think this is from Cosmic Shimmer. These are the Glitter Kiss. This one's called Golden Sand Kiss. Tammy has these in the shop. At least last I looked, she had some available. I used Glitter Kiss throughout the book, and I also used Lavender Kiss. So these are those, oh, very hard to open. Beautiful shimmers. Look at that. It's kind of like a paste. Ooh, they do stink. There is in the handle, there is a sponge that you wet this and you use this to apply the glitter paste, and then obviously you're going to clean it off. Excuse me. So those are the two colors that I use throughout the book. I have several other. I think I have all of them except the red and the midnight blue. I didn't think I would ever use the midnight blue until I saw Jennifer Palmer's video, and now I need the midnight blue. Anyway, so yeah, so then I also I have these flowers. These were Prima flowers. If you look at my haul video for this paper collection, these flowers were also in that video. And the gorgeous leaves that come with the flowers. I have, whoops. I use throughout the book, oh, sorry for the glare. I'm still trying to get used to this new Cricut light. See the big glare right there? I use the Album Tags and Accents die. I know Tammy's shown this several times, and other members of the design team have used this as well. I am hooked. I love this. I used to say, I can make my own tags. What do I need to dye for? Well, now I know what I need to dye. And now I need all of them. So, so anyway, so this one is Album Tags and Accents. And you can see right here, my shaker. I did, maybe it's kind of a little hard to tell, but the background, the base of the tag is some purple cardstock that I had in my stash, and I cut out a piece of the gorgeous pattern paper, covered it with some tulle, some gold tulle, and added my shaker mix, and that's how I made the shaker. But a word of advice, don't put glitter in here in your sequin mix if you're going to use tulle, because it doesn't stay in there. It gets everywhere. Anyway, so also here are these little corners, these decorative corners. These were that part of this die set. I just cut 2 out of this really. I thought it was gold paper, but now I'm looking, it might be actually more bronzy, but it works. I mean, I think it still looks gorgeous. So that's the front of the book. This is the spine. Look at this paper. This is one of those mini albums where one of those projects where you just let the paper do the talking. I mean, look at that. Look at the lace. It's just gorgeous. And again, there's that cosmic glitter paste. I did make a dangle. I don't know if you can tell. I love that color green. It's incredible. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like little teeny tiny beads all put together. So there's some spacers. Loving that bead. And I made this tassel out of some embroidery floss. I think it's 5mm embroidery floss, and then I just bought some gold. I don't know what you call it. It's just gold thread, and so I made the tassel that way. That's the back. I don't typically put anything on the back because it usually takes a beating. So let's just jump in. So this book has 1, 2, 3 pages. You could actually do a 4th page, but I chose to only do 3. So here in the front, this is the inside front cover. Excuse me, I had this beautiful trim in my stash. I've had this forever. I have it in both this rosy mauve color and, oh, there's a little piece of it over here in this navy blue and purple. So there's the tag from the die set. This is one of the ephemera pieces. Look how pretty that is. So I just, added some purple glitter tulle. Warning, glitter goes everywhere. It looks blue on my screen, even with my fancy light, but it's definitely a lavenderish purple color. This is just absolutely beautiful. This is a piece of ephemera. So I just use craft cardstock as the base, and I use this gold glitter paper that I have in my stash. But you, by all means, you can use just whatever. You could use some of the pattern paper. So that's that tag. And then this tag, this is one of there's a page in the collection. It kind of is a cut apart page, but it kind of isn't at the same time. But it says photographic here, and it has like some music notes, and it says photographic art gallery, sorry. Just absolutely beautiful. A little bit of the gold tulle. This is what I used to make the shaker. And those just sit right inside, or they live right inside that pocket. So this one, in hindsight, if and when I make this one again, I will actually have this flap open from the other direction, because it's actually, even though I have quite a bit of space in between where my pages start and where my spine ends, or where my cover meets my spine, I probably would tie it over on the opposite side next time. But, so this is gorgeous. This is just another one of those, the smaller die. So you have, in this, you have a 3 3/4 by 5 3/4 inch die, and then the larger one's 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So this one is the smaller. And there you can see that gorgeous purple glitter paste. This lady, or this fairy, she is one of the ephemera pieces. I just thought she was absolutely gorgeous. So this is all one big ephemera piece. This right here, the rose, that's another ephemera piece. And then I just added some of the purple, the same embroidery floss I used for the dangle, or the beaded dangle, and just a couple little pieces of that trim. And this little flyaway, this is part of the collection. I just thought that was absolutely gorgeous. So that opens like that. Again, another piece of the ephemera says Imagine. I just thought this needed a little more, so I just added a strip of the gold glitter cardstock. And this is just a small little photo mat. I don't have anything. So I left that open so you could just slide the photo right through there. Oh, and over here is a pocket. Look how beautiful that is. That is just, the graphics are just incredible. I just thought this was beautiful. So this can actually live down inside there. But I just, for whatever reason, did not put one there. And then there's also two, each page is a top-loading pocket. You can put some tags in there. So again, you would just tie that. And then it opens to this side. And there we go. So the second page is a double belly band with some tags. So again, the beautiful pattern paper. So this is a 2-tier belly band. I think that's what I called it in the tutorial. I think I called it a 2-tier belly band. So there's one belly band, a little bit bigger, and then there's a smaller one. This right here, this little label in the gold, again, this is from, yep, that's this one. Oops, that's this one in the die set. And then I just used 2 pieces of the like purpley bling. And then there's this little piece of ephemera that says Fairy Whispers. So also, I should not have put the paper collection away. It's across the room. There was a set of these cards. Look how beautiful that little fairy is. Isn't she gorgeous? She's Victorian and fairy-like all at the same time. When I look at this, I think of Kim Reynolds. She just, I don't know, she just screams Kim Reynolds to me. But anyway, look at her beautiful little wings. And that's the back side. So it's just a 4x6 card, but it's really pretty. Actually, she goes on top. Here's another one of the ephemera pieces. Another one of the, look at her, just absolutely gorgeous. And then it says Enchanting here. This is another one of those ephemera pieces. And then, you know, I just have it on some craft cardstock. So I stuck her in the back. Here is a layered tag, you know, the larger one, layered on craft cardstock. The smaller one, the piece of the pattern paper, which is absolutely gorgeous. And then I just put that on top. I tried to stack these so you could see there was more than one. And then there she's set her in there. And over here, I have this little flap with a pocket underneath. I absolutely love this. So this is, trying to get rid of the glare. So this is a butterfly, a piece of butterfly ephemera. I have these paper clips that you can attach things to turn them into, you know, a decorative paper clip. So there's some of that gold. It's not twine, and it's not thread, and it's not trim. I'm just not really sure what it is, but it's string. It's gold glittery string. And then I set the butterfly on top of that, and I just added a piece of bling there, and it just decorates that right up. I just thought that looks so pretty. So this this is one of the there's some cut apart pockets, ephemera pockets in the collection, I think is what I'm calling them. And this is like cut apart. So I just cut that out of the 4x6 card. It says Dreams. So that opens like that, and then that goes like that. Isn't that just so lovely? And then I used a magnet to hold that shut, and it flips up. Here is one of the cut. There's some tags in the collection, so I fussy cut it out. Just so pretty, just so pretty. And that's the back, and it just sits inside there. Very simple, you know. Like I said, the paper's doing all the talking here. And then down here's another one of these little ephemera tags that says magical. I just popped it up, left it open in case when I put a picture in. So I put that back on there. Next page. I don't want to squish the flowers on the front. So I just did a little gatefold here where this pops up. Whoops, I guess you heard the magnet. This pops up and lifts up like that. And then this side lifts up, and look at the beautiful unicorn. Isn't she gorgeous? All the beautiful colors. Absolutely love her. I was going to put a photo mat down, but I don't want to cover up the beautiful unicorn. So just going to leave that like that. And then the next page is over here. This is page 3. So I have some of this beautiful dark navy blue seam binding. I did a fold down flap. So there's this beautiful, I want to say, it looks like an old time water jug to me. I don't know. I don't think it's a vase, but look at the beautiful flowers. It's just so gorgeous, and there's some text in the background. This is just a white paper rose that I had in my stash, and I just put some of that gold glitter paste on it, and just had some pearl strings or pearl strands, and then I had some of these Prima leaves. So just put together just a little, just a little embellishment there, and then that folds down, and this lady, she's so pretty. I mean, she actually reminds me of one of my older sisters. I don't know what it is about her, but when I think of my older sister when I see her. Anyway, so then there's this beautiful graphic image here. It's like some crackle paint, or it looks like paint, and then it's crackled, and it's just gorgeous, and it's pink, and it's mauve, and it's purple, and it's just couldn't be more perfect. So that's that. And then the last page here, these are, they pop out like that. So these are 2 of the tags that I just put some pattern paper on. And I shrunk them down. I think these are about 4 inches or so, 4.5 maybe. And then made a pocket. There's another gorgeous piece of pattern paper. I left this uncovered for journaling or for a photo. And look at her. Is she just absolutely gorgeous? She's another one of the ephemera pieces. Oh, I just absolutely love it. And then here's one of those 4x6 cards. It says Fairy Whispers. So again, that just is tucked right inside there. And then this just goes in there. And that just keeps everything nice and contained. And then, as I mentioned, you could probably add another one of these pages in the back. But I decided to make just a little shaker pocket. I made another one of these little paper clips, which I thought was just super cute. So this is just a little pocket. I don't know if it's probably just 3x4. This is actually not in the tutorial. I've already filmed the tutorial. So this is about 2 7/8 by 4. So it's just a little shaker pocket that I made. I was actually thinking I might make another one and put it here, but I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of space. I just might do that. So anyway, this is again another one of the tags that I just fussy cut out. And then I just made, I don't know if you could see the beads. Just made a little dangle. I'm into beads now. I mean, I've always loved doing like little dangles, ribbon dangles on the side of my mini albums, but I'm really into using beads, as you can see. I just think they're so pretty. And then, oops, this goes back here. And then this is the the inside back cover. So you got to have a little bit of waterfall. Every girl needs a waterfall. So here's another one of the tags. Just put some gold glitter cardstock on it. This is an ephemera piece. Just absolutely gorgeous. Love it, love it, love it. And then just another one of those little ephemera tags that says whimsical. So open it up. And here, my waterfall only has 3 pages. I could have done one more, but I kept it just to 3. This is the gorgeous fairy that I showed you earlier, and with just a little piece of ephemera, it says beautiful. And again, each one of these I used the beautiful purple, or what is it called? Lavender Kiss glitter paste. Look at this one. She's so pretty. They're all just so pretty. And there's that gorgeous one again. And then there's the unicorn. I just love her. She's just so pretty. Again, and I left the back sides blank for the photo and or the journaling. And then also too, in between, on the waterfall, we usually have a 1/2 inch tab. I always cover those up with, because it's all about the details, right? So I always cover it up with a piece of beautiful pattern paper. But this paper is pretty busy, so I decided, I have gold throughout the book, so I used the gold glitter paper. And then you can see I did the same thing in between each one of the pages. I just love to do that. I think it just finishes it off. Just makes it look so nice and clean and pretty. So yeah, so that's the book. That's the view from the top. And that's the view from the side. So yeah, so I hope you'll stay tuned to work on building our book. So what you're going to need, all the typical tools. You need a ruler, you need some scissors. I highly recommend some sort of a pokey tool. And if you're fortunate enough to have these spacers that Tammy sells in her shop, these are acrylic, I believe. There are 2 of them that are 1 inch by 12 inches, and then there's one that is 1.5 inches by 12 inches. And mine are just decorated. They come plain. These just have some vinyl decorations on them. But I'm pretty sure she has these in stock. I would run and get these. Worth every penny. And then obviously you're going to need some chipboard. I would highly recommend some medium weight chipboard. Excuse me, that's what I always use for my covers, is medium weight chipboard. It holds up, it doesn't get warped when you put glue on it. It just works really, really well. So for this book today, we're going to want 2 pieces of the medium weight chipboard that are cut down to 6 by 8. I clearly can't read. And then you want another piece for your spine that's 2.5 inches by 8 inches. Okay? So, yes. If you have some Scor tape sheets in your stash, they make wrapping covers very, very easy. I clearly ran out. So, I covered the back of my covers with the Scor tape sheets. Or you can just use, I think this is the 3/8 inch Scor tape. You can also use your art glitter glue. It'll work fine. Just to speed everything up, I like to use Scor tape. So I covered the back of all 3 pieces. Okay. And then to wrap it, I am using the Artisan cardstock in Craft. This is more like it's like a lighter color craft. Because if you see on this chipboard, that's a little more of a darker craft. I love this color, but you'll see, and with this paper collection, this just works beautifully. So to cover both your covers, front and back, you're going to want 8 by 2 pieces that are cut to 8 by 10. Then to cover the spine, 5.5 by 10. All right, so I'm just going to start with putting this into my scoreboard. This, or my Scor Pal, this makes putting the covers together really easy because it holds everything in place for you. And then when you add these 1-inch spacers, one along the side, one along the top, you can see over here it's hanging off a little, but that's okay. What's important here is that you get this lined up, this angle. So we are going to remove the backing of the Scor tape, or go ahead and add whatever type of adhesive you like to use. And then, a little bit of overhang there. It's not going to hurt anything. Just go ahead and line it up, butt it up against both of those spacers, and look at that. It's absolutely beautiful. Nice 1-inch border around all sides. So let's go ahead and give that a good burnish. You can hear that. If you have a brayer, you could use a brayer here. So yeah, so let's set that aside and let's do the second one. Oh, right in front of all 4 of my eyes. Okay. Oh, this just gets so annoying sometimes. Okay, it's funny how I get so spoiled with those Scor tape sheets. I think Tammy has them, actually I know Tammy has them in her store. The sizes are 8.5 by 11, and I know she always has that, but I'm not sure. I know there's 6 by 6 sheets available. I personally don't purchase them, so I can't say for sure if she has those, but you can check it out online. All right. Oopsie. There we go. Give it a good burnish. See how easy is that? Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so here's our 5.5 by 10 for our spine. We are just going to remove this backer, or go ahead and add your Scor tape sheets. I didn't do a great job in burnishing that because I could see some little bubbles, but that's okay. We'll get it on the end, the other side. All right, so for this one, if you're using these spacers, you want the 1.5-inch spacer, and you'll see why in a minute. And then your 1 inch across the top, and then just come in here, lay that down. Uh-oh, I picked up something red. I hope I'm not bleeding. Oh, okay. I don't know what that was, but that's okay. Oh, yes I do. Whoopsie. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. So, let's go ahead and give that a good burnish. Okay. We'll set the spine aside. And grab one of your covers. And then we're just going to go ahead and use your table to help fold. It does look like I'm bleeding. What the heck is happening? Oh, I am. I scratched myself. Oops. Okay, let's just pretend we don't see that. So, go ahead and fold that. Fold it over and give it a good crease. The other one. Okay, again, utilize your tabletop. Oh my Lord. What is happening today? Is this a sign I'm not supposed to do this? Because I will tell you, this is my second take. The first one, the first one I did, I hit my mouse by mistake and I shut it off after 7.5 minutes. Ugh. I don't know. I think the universe is trying to tell me, Anne-Marie, just stop. I'm going to keep persevering on. Hopefully it doesn't gross anybody out, but apparently I did cut my finger. Oh, I will be right back. Okay, here we go. So we have used our table to actually help with scoring along the edges. So then what we're going to do, I like to use my little cutter bee scissors for this, but you could use any scissor you like. So when you folded it, so you see how it actually created that little square right there, the intersection of the long side and the short side. You're just going to go ahead and cut straight down along that score line. And we're going to do the same thing over here. And then let's turn it around, do the same. So on all four corners. And then just give it a little miter here. Trick is not to go too deep. You don't want to cut into the chipboard, obviously, but you want to give yourself a little bit of room so that when you wrap it, it covers that very edge of the chipboard. So I just give it just a little slightest angle. You can kind of see what I did there. Or if you'd rather have the square, you don't have to angle this at all. But if you'd rather have it look square, you'll be fine. So that's the first one. And let's do the same thing with the second one. Oh, I nicked the chipboard a little bit there. Got a little bit too close. That's okay. We'll fix it. See? Easy peasy. So now I'm going to grab my art glitter glue. Put a bead of glue right along, oops, right along the chipboard. And stick it down. Give it a finish, let it do its thing. Let's come over here, do the same thing. You don't need a lot of glue, but you don't want to skimp on it either. It's very important here. Okay, so now I like to come up here and kind of flatten that off. See how it flattens around that chipboard? So you can kind of see how it's a little bit rounded. I like to come in with my bone folder and just flatten it. Don't know why I do that. I just do. Okay, so now what I want to do is just fold this back on itself and make sure I'm not going to have any of those crazy corners. Okay. We'll go ahead and add some glue. Fold it over, give it a good garnish. Give it a minute to catch. As we all know, art glitter glue is the bomb. It dries so fast. One more time. See how I had a little bit too much? Scored it out. All right. So that's our first one, all done. All right, so on to the second one. It's Let's wrap this one. Oops. So you can see I have a little bit of my glue squirting out here. I'm not taking my time. I'm trying to go too fast, which always gets me in trouble. So take your time here. This is a lot of work. So you want your book to look nice. It looks very professional. Nice clean line along the outside. And then we'll break this tutorial up into a few different parts so that you're not sitting around watching. So I think I forgot to do this. So we're going to go ahead and just flatten that chipboard around the edges. Again, you can skip this if you want to. I just like the way it looks. Okay, so those are the covers wrapped. Sorry for my little accident there. All right, so let's move on to the spine. So we've already stuck that down. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to wrap it. On this one, we're just going to wrap the top and bottom, however. We're going to leave the sides unwrapped for a second, and I will show you why. Okay. There are tools that are out there on the market that you can, that no doubt you've seen, to help you miter the edges, and I personally don't think it's necessary, because they're going to get covered up anyway, but some people just like to have it absolutely straight. Perfect is not my thing. I'm close, but I'm not perfect. Okay. So we're going to do the top and the bottom the same way. Okay. So there we go. So we're going to actually leave the rest, excuse me, the rest of that open for now. So what we want to do is grab one or the other of our covers, doesn't matter. I am going to put Scor tape on mine. Again, you can do, at this point, you can use glue. But I like to use both. You don't want to get too close to that fold line there. Just want to make sure that you're close enough. You don't leave too much of a gap, but you don't want to leave too little space, because then your covers will get hung up. But so we don't want that. But so I'm going to give this that Scor tape a good burnish so you makes good contact with the paper. Oh, I just put the Scor tape on the wrong side. Incredible. All right, take 2 or take 5, whatever it's been. Let's just go for a ride. Okay, so I want the Scor tape on the outside. Good gravy. Anyway, Here we go. Scor tape should go on the outside. I really did do another book. See? I really did. I did another take and I didn't realize I hit my mouse 7 minutes in, so it all stopped. So I get to do it again. So anyway, it's fun. Okay, so again, just be careful of that fold line. Get close to it, but don't go up over it. And the last piece. Fortunately, that wasn't a waste of my Scor tape because I would need it on the inside anyway. But all right. Okay. Heavens. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we are going to put this in the scoreboard. It's very, very helpful to have it, a scoreboard to help you keep everything, and by you I mean me, straight. So I'm going to remove the Scor tape, and then I'm going to just put, looking for the edge. Oh goodness, come on. I swear, I sit here and craft all day by myself and this never clogs. As soon as my camera turns on, it's like, clog up. I'm going to put some glue right along the edge of that first piece of Scor tape and in between those couple of pieces. The reason that I do that is not really necessary, but if I don't set it down straight the first time, it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. So, okay, so let's line this up. Again, you want to be careful you don't go over the fold. Let's give this a good burnish. Okay. I'm just going to take a blunt edge bone folder. You don't want a pokey bone folder because it'll cut right through that piece of cardstock. Okay, and then we're going to come back out here, give that a nice, beautiful. Now you can see my glue mark, that little bit of glue, but that's going to dry clear and I will remove it, or I'll wipe it off as soon as I finish this side. So we're going to do the same thing over here. Come on. I see, there's that fold line. Woo! That was almost a disaster. Okay, line her up. Okay. So there we have the book. Oops, I have it upside down. Looks good. And what you might want to do is take some of these, if you have these Dollar Tree clips or whatever, you can clip these two pieces together until the glue dries, but it's pretty much dry. And maybe leave it there for a second or a couple minutes, let it dry. And then what we want to do is cover these pages. You do not have to cover these with the solid cardstock. You can actually go to your pattern paper right now and start, but I would suggest you at least cover this one right here, the spine, because if you're going to put pattern paper on your covers, you're just wasting a piece of cardstock. So I would say don't do it. So I'm not going to do it. All right. Okay, so for the inside, it's not really wrapping. It's more lining the book. You don't want to cover your spine, and you want to make sure that you give at least an inch over on this side so that when the book closes and opens, you know, there's enough, the paper isn't pulling away. So yeah, I have just a little too much Scor tape here, but that's okay. So you, I would recommend when you're working on the spine using a really, really good strong adhesive. Like when I say strong adhesive, I mean like a Scor tape. Our glitter glue is strong, but it, you know, what I'm talking about is I wouldn't use like this ATG gun, because this dry adhesive doesn't really dry. So I just don't think it would hold your spine in the long run. So I would recommend not using it. You know, but it's your book. You can do what you want. Let's see. All right, I'm just going to line this right back up. So to cover this 2.5 by 8 inch spine, I did 4.5 inches by 7 7/8 of an inch, just so we have just a little bit. Let's see, of a border. Sorry, I had to stand up there. So I went ahead and stuck that down. And then what I do is, oops, there's one of those rogue little corners. Get rid of that. Okay. Then what I do is just come over here, gently lift up on, doesn't matter whether you do the right side or the left side, gently lift up on it. So see what it's doing? It's forming that little trench there in between the two pieces of chipboard. And then I just gently go back and forth, lift it up. So see how it makes that gorgeous channel there? And what you're doing is you're making contact between this top piece of cardstock and the cardstock we used to wrap it around the other side. So again, don't be like really heavy-handed and push like crazy through there, because you can rip the chipboard on either the inside or the outside, which I have done. I will admit. Again, trying to be in a hurry to get to the fun stuff, which is the decorating, FYI. So here we go. And that is our book done. So you see it lays nice and flat. You can move it this way. Gorgeous, isn't it? I love craft cardstock. Anyway, so that's the book. The next part of this video, I will show you how to construct the pages. Oh, actually, we will do the binding and then we'll construct the pages. So I'll be right back in a minute. We are going to start with making our base pages in just a second, but what I also want to show you is the hinge. So this is the book that we already made, and we covered with some cardstock. So since I am going to do only 3 pages in my book, you only need 3 hinges. There is enough space here on the spine if you want to add a 4th hinge, but I'm going to stick with 3 hinges on mine. So to make your hinge, you can use whatever hinge method you want. So I just cut a piece of my solid cardstock, 4 inches by 7 inches, because again my pages are going to be 5 by 7. My base pages, sorry, are going to be 5 by 7. And then you can put this in your scoreboard on the 4-inch side and score at 1/2, then 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, and 3.5. So when you turn it over, it gives you something like this. You end up with, sorry, something like this. So what we're going to do is fold along the score lines. So if you're looking at it like this, you're going to want to do a mountain fold and then a valley, and then you skip one, and then you do a mountain fold, so you can see that your gusset's there, and then you skip one, and then you fold the last 2, so then you have the 3 hinges with 2 1/2-inch gussets. Okay? And then when you flip it over, I like to do that before I try to figure out where to put the score tape, because it can be a bit confusing. So I started on this flap, so these 2 are going to get glued together, and then that's the bottom, and then these 2 get glued together, and then these 2 get glued together. So when you're finished, you end up with 2 1/2-inch pieces that are going to stick into your book. So let's take the score tape off. I know that can be a little confusing for people. It trips me up all the time. So there, we just did the very first hinge, and we'll come back and we'll burnish it and make sure to crease it really well. Then you want to leave that piece because that's going to be the part that attaches to the spine. So then we're going to remove this one. And that created hinge number 2. And then we're going to remove this one, and that creates hinge number 3. So you see when you turn it upside down, that's what's going to actually attach to your book. Okay. There's also the method where you can leave an extra inch or 2 off the side here and put it in your book. But I just really don't feel we need the flap on this. I think I learned that from Tamara years ago. And it works, and I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and go back and make sure all this is creased down really well. Give this a good burnish. Actually, I should probably, yeah. So you want to crease them in both directions, your flaps. Breaking down those fibers, teaching them what they need to do. Okay, and there's 101 different hinge methods out there. I actually have been using for years an individual hinge for each page. I don't know, but this is kind of growing on me, so anyway, I guess maybe I got over my fear of it. I don't know what you want to call it, but okay, so here's our spine. So what I want to do is make sure, because I'm going to have, like I said, because of the embellishments. So I think everybody is aware, maybe you are, maybe you aren't, but this ideology ruler from Tim Holtz is 1.5 inches wide. And what I love about it is it gives you markings for every 1/8 of an inch. So these first 2, that's 1/4 of an inch. Then these next 2, you add that in, and that's 1/2 of an inch. Then you come down here, add 2 more lines, and that's 1 whole inch. And then this is the 1.5 inches. So you have 1/4 inch, 1/2, 1.5. 1/4 inch, 1/2, 3/4 of an inch, 1 inch, and then 1.5 inches. So it makes it really easy to actually line up your spine. So if you want, actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to come down here and I am going to draw a very faint line. So So I'm matching up that that second dark black line, and I'm going to measure over a 1/2 inch over to 2 inches. And I'm just putting a line in there so that I know when I'm ready to put the hinge system in that I can line it up right there, and I'll have even 1/2 inch on the top of my book and the bottom of my book. All right, so, and you could do the same over here. You can line it up. You can line it up and then just put another little mark so that you know where this should end. So a 1/2 inch should end right there, and then you have a nice 1/2 inch on both sides, in case you have a lot of dimension on your pages, which, you know, I'm known for junking it up. So I am just going to go ahead and remove my backer tape. This for me is always a challenge. I've been doing this for years and it still makes me nervous. So I'm just going to stand up so I'm like right over it, and I hope you can see that. I'm going to try to line this up, center this as best I can on those marks that I put down. Oh, see, I almost messed it up. Does anyone else hold their breath like I do? Okay. I hope that's straight. We'll see. Looks straight to me. Okay. So then you want to just give it a good burnish on those gussets. I just love the clean look of that. You know, like there's nothing hanging over. It looks nice and clean. It's sticking really well. Love it. Okay. So you can go ahead and set this aside for now. We are going to construct the pages. So as I mentioned, I am making, my pages are 5 by 7. They are a top-loading pocket page. So to make this base page, you want a piece of your solid cardstock, 5.5 by 7.5. And if you're making 3 pages, you want 3. If you're making 4 pages, obviously you want 4. So you can set it in your scoreboard. Score at with the 5.5 inch side on the top right. Score at 1/2 inch. Rotate it. Score at 1/2 inch. Rotate it again, back to the short side again, and score at 1/2 inch. So what you just did there was score at 1/2 inch on 3 of the 4 sides. So when you hear me say score 1/2 inch on 3 sides, that's what I mean. I think that makes sense. If not, I'm happy to go over it with you if you just want to contact me. But I think that makes pretty good sense. So then what we want to do, you can, by all means, use your art glitter glue. And when I am making these books, when I'm not filming, I absolutely use art glitter glue when I construct the pages. But when I'm filming, I like to use Scor tape because it's just quicker. So, all right, so we scored on 3 sides. What we want to do is come over here and miter the corners. So if you see what we did, right? Okay, and let's just do the same thing. Get rid of that little bit of extra paper that causes a little bit of bulk. And then we're also going to miter those corners. Also, since this is a top-loading pocket, just slicing off that little bit actually helps when you slide a tag in. It doesn't get caught up on that little piece that inevitably doesn't want to stick down. So yeah, so that actually stops all that nonsense. Okay. All right, so now you scored it, you mitered your corners. Now let's go ahead and fold on your score lines and burnish, burnish, burnish. And if I didn't say so already, I think I said, this is the Artisan cardstock in the craft color, and it's just a crafter's dream. It really, really is. Okay, so now we actually need to close up this pocket, and what we need to do is put another piece of cardstock over top of it to actually form the pocket. So to do so, you're going to want a piece of your cardstock cut down to 4.5 by 7. So you're going to want 3 of those. But what I want to do is actually come back to our pocket. So on the short side on the bottom, I removed my backer of my score tape, and basically I'm just forming the pocket. It just makes it easier to work with, so see that nothing's flapping around. And also too, you can, I don't know if you can see. You can see down inside there, there's nothing getting in the way for when you slide the tag in. Oops, my tag's just a little too wide, of course. Oh, because it's the top. Yeah. Anyway, so when you slide the tag in, it doesn't get caught on this or this little corner. So we can go ahead and remove your score tape backer. Now, if you're using art glitter glue, I do suggest you do 1 flap at a time. You could do the same thing I just did here. Put down your art glitter glue, fold the 2 sides over, and just give it a second to stick. Yeah, it's easier to do this if you do it 1 side at a time. So then what I like to do is bring my pocket page over to the side of my scoreboard. It kind of helps hold it. And then I line up the bottom left corner, and I line everything up on the left side and then bring it over to the right side. So you actually end up with your pocket page. Oh yeah, you can see them in there. Let me see if you can see. If I bring the light. Where am I? No. Too much shadow, but yeah, you get the idea. So there you have 1 pocket page is made. Okay. Oh, and if you plan to make it the same size, since our page is 7 inches tall, you actually can, cut your mat and maybe, I don't know, maybe a 1/2 inch taller, maybe a 1/4 of an inch taller. What I plan to use is the same one I use. So I just got in these album tags and accents from Heartfelt Creations. Tammy has these in the store, and there'll be a link in the description box for you. These are actually fantastic. I'll turn it over so you can see. So that you get, actually, let's do this. Makes it easier to see. Sorry for the glare. Oh, you can see my crazy hair too. All right, so you have this big tag. That is the 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 size, and then there's a layering tag. That's 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. And then you can see there's these 2, and then there's these cute little tags. I love these little corners. I don't know what these are called, but love these. I love this the little pull tab, and this I think is like I forget what that one's called. And then there's this little border tab here, or border die down here. So that was what I was going to use as my tag, but they are not long enough. As I mentioned, they're only 6.5 inches tall. But I'm going to use them elsewhere in the project. Now, you absolutely do not have to have this die. You can make your own tags. You can cut down a piece of your cardstock to 4.25 by 6.25. I just happened to get this a couple of days ago, and I love it, and I want to use it. So, okay, so now you can go ahead and, I've already put the other two together, but go ahead and make yourself 3 of these little pocket tags. All right, so then next, let's do the left front cover, just because it's right here in front of me. All right, so I'm just going to put a pocket, the left front cover. And what I like to do with these is any leftover tags that I have, or I just make a bunch of tags, and I like to put them in the cover and use them for a lot of journaling throughout the book. It's just a lot of fun. So for the left pocket, we are going to cut a piece of cardstock 4.5 by 7. Then we're going to put it in the scoreboard on the long side, which is the 7-inch side, and we're going to score it 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So 1/2 inch, turn, 1/2 inch, turn, and 1/2 inch. Okay? And then we're going to do just like we did on that last pocket. We're just going to cut out the corners, and we're just going to angle this corner up here. Come here. Okay. There. I have a habit of not burnishing my Scor tape down very well, and it just doesn't want to stick. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold the bottom flap, away from me. Fold the right side down. Fold the left side. You can go left to right, whatever floats your boat. Alright, remove your backer, or go ahead and put your glue on the tab. Line my book up, and then I want to line up my bottom left corner of my pocket with the bottom left corner of my book. I always try to do my best to make sure it all lines up. Okay. If you remember, this was the Scor tape I put down by mistake, but that's okay. I'm going to put a piece of pattern paper there. It's going to cover it up. Nobody's ever going to know. So there is our first pocket, and as you can see, oops, everything fits in there nicely. Oh, by the way, this is the tag from that die. But we're going to use that for something else. All right, so let's go ahead and put this aside and work on page 1. Give me 1 minute to get page 1. Okay, that's page 1. Nope, that's page 3. What is happening? All right. This is page 1. Good gravy. Page 1, page 2. Okay. So what you'll need for page 1 is one of your base pages. Oh. All right, so let's go ahead and, sorry, I moved my camera. Let's go ahead and add our base pages. Now, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some Scor tape on each flap. By all means, I'm actually going to use both. I'm going to use Scor tape and art glitter glue. I'm going to put it on just the front flap of each hinge. If you wanted to, you could make your base page into like a sleeve where this side was open so you could slide it over the hinge, but you don't really have to do that. You know, full disclosure, I meant to do that, but I made a mistake and sealed the first one, so anyway, I thought I would just leave it. So I am going to remove the Scor tape backer, and just to give myself a little bit of wiggle time, I'm going to add some wet glue right on top of that Scor tape in case some kind of disaster happens. Okay, I hope you can see that. Alright, so I'm just going to fold this down. Again, I like to start in the bottom left corner. Don't know why, it's just the thing that I do. And then just line that up as straight as you can get it without going over the edge of the hinge. And just give that a good burnish. Stick it down. Then what's going to happen is you are going to cover that with pattern paper anyway, so you won't see that little hinge. So see, it's, and then after you work it, or after I work it, it will stay flat. All right, next one, same thing. My little insurance policy here. All right, oops. There it is. Again, make sure you don't go over that fold. You don't want it to cause any issues, get hung up. Okay. And the last one, which is where? Oh, I hope I didn't put that on upside down. Whew, yeah. Scared me for a second. Make sure you have your pocket opening at the top. That would be disastrous. That's the kind of disasters that will happen. If a disaster is going to happen for me, that's usually how it goes. All right, so next, let's line this up again. Don't get too close to the fold. Okay, so as you can see, actually works pretty well. So there's your view from the top. Got your base pages in. Got your pocket. Oh, I squished my pocket. Got your pocket over here on your, oops, your pocket over here in your left hand, left side cover, inside cover. All right, so then we are going to just go ahead and put the flaps and all the other fun stuff on each one of the pages. And then we're going to come back at the end and we're going to put the waterfall over here. So this actually comes together really quickly. It's really fun. I had a good time. All right, so for page 1, oops, that's page 3. What in the world? Okay, page 1. Now, this is page 1, obviously page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, okay? So, what we're going to do is we are going to cut a piece of the base color cardstock. 4.5 by 7. Okay, and this is going to be a full page flap. So you do 4.5 by 7. Come in here, come to your scoreboard on the 4.5 inch side, score it at 1/2 inch. That's all you have to do on that one. And then we are going to add, add your favorite adhesive, Scor tape, or art glitter glue, barely art glue, whatever it is that you like. Again, just for the sake of the video, I'm using Scor tape today. Now you can make a decision whether you want your flap to flap open left to right, or you can do right to left. I obviously decided I wanted mine to go this way, so let's go ahead and let's remove the backer on the Scor tape, or go ahead and add your art glitter glue. Now I like to turn this around so that I can actually see what I'm doing here. So again, I'm going to line up my corners and my edge. Hope you can see that. Let's see. And burnish it. And burnish. Alright. Okay, then on the inside of the flap, we're going to put a pocket. So we've already made a pocket. Actually, you made 3 pockets plus the inside flap of your cover, or your inside cover, sorry, so that's 4. So this is your 5th pocket. So we're going to go ahead and cut down a piece that's 4.5 inches by 5.5 inches. We're going to score at 1/2 inch on all 3 sides. So with the 5.5 inch, just because that's where I started, you can, well, actually with a pocket, specifically this pocket, you want to score at 1/2 inch on 2 short sides and 1 long side, if that makes sense. So on 5.5, score 1/2 inch, rotate it to the short side, which is 4.5, score 1/2 inch, rotate it back to the long side, and score 1/2 inch. Okay? Now let's just fold on the score lines. Alright, and do the same thing we just did with the base pages. We're going to remove that little square in the corner. That it's not necessary to have all that paper bunching up in the corners, and it just makes your project look better, makes everything lay much flatter, and it just looks really good. All right, so we're going to go ahead and form the pocket. Ah, that Scor tape is sticky. Okay. And then once again, remove the backer. Okay, so what I like to do is kind of like a dry run type thing. I'll turn it over just to make sure, oops, it doesn't go on the flap, it goes on the inside. Just to make sure the pocket fits here. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So I'm lining up my bottom and my left side. Give it a good burnish and close your flap. And give this a good burnish. Now this is going to stick up. It's going to need some sort of a closure. I am going to use seam binding or ribbon right here to close it up. Yeah, or you can always put a magnet there to have a magnet hold it closed. Okay? So that's page 1. Pretty simple, right? Then you can just go ahead and add a tag. Oops, what did I do? Jeez Louise. So you can see these die cut tags fit very nicely in there. Okay, and now page 2. Page 2 I kept pretty simple. It is, oh, here it is. It is going to be a 2-tiered belly band. You see my page 2. So, excuse me. So what we need is a piece of cardstock that is 3 inches by 5.5 inches. Put it in your scoreboard with 5.5 inches on the top corner, top right. Score 1/2 inch. Rotate it. Score it 1/2 inch. So you want 1/2 inch on the 2 long sides. Okay, because we're just going to make it into a belly band. So, well, I would say I already did that one. So fold along your score lines. Okay. And then you want a second one that is 2 inches by 5.5 inches. We're going to do the exact same thing. Score it 1/2 inch. Rotate it, and score it 1/2 inch again. Okay. So then we're going to fold on our score lines. And then what's going to happen is this one is going to sit just right on top of this one, so that you put one tag here and then another tag through this one. Okay? So let's bring the book back. And now you can put this belly band anywhere on the page you want it. You can do up high, down low. Well, down low is kind of weird, but up high you can split the difference. I am just eyeballing it. If you want to measure it, knock yourself out, but I'm just eyeballing as close to center as I can get it. Oops. And then I'm just going to burnish. Now, I'm sure there's some people freaking out because I didn't put the pattern paper down first. You really don't have to, because you can just trim a little sliver off of the edge. See, I can get that. I like to keep a little bit of the base paper showing, so you really don't have to do that. You can if you want, but I don't think it's necessary. All right, so we're going to take the second tier of the 2-tier belly band, and we're just going to do the same thing. Just going to center it top to bottom as best as you can. Right on top of that first belly band. Giving them both a really good burnish because I want them to stick down. You can see. So that's page 2. Pretty quick, right? Pretty simple. All right, page number 3. This one is going to be a flap. Where's the other page? Row. Oh, there it is. I did use the wrong one. Okay. That's okay. It'll work. So I have, this is going to be a pocket on the bottom. It's a bit of a smaller pocket than, because this was actually supposed to be on page 1. And then this is a fold out flap that's gonna, and we're gonna use a magnet to hold this down. It's gonna fold up like this. First it's gonna open like this and open like this and fold up. Okay, so to do this, let me grab some magnets. Love these basic, oops, better look at this. Love these basic gray magnets. Tammy has these in the store. These are the large size. They come in large and smaller. Obviously, I used an extra plus. I'm not sure why, but anyway. So let's do the flap first. So what you need is a piece of your cardstock that is cut at, well, I cut mine at 10.5. So I did 5 by 10.5. And then just so that this, this flap folds in, you can see I cut the tiniest little sliver off to keep it from getting caught when you fold it closed. So can you see that right there? So you can like maybe trim 1/8 of an inch off of each end when you put it together. So I did, like I said, 5 by 10.5. Put it in your scoreboard and score it at 3.5 and then 7. Okay, and then you're left with something that looks like that. Then we need to attach it to the page somehow. So I just created a little attaching tab, if you want to call it that. So it's 1 inch wide, and I made it 3.5 inches long. So that's the size when this is folded shut. That's 3.5 inches. So then you're going to put that in your scoreboard on the short side, or the 1 inch side is on the top right, and then just score it at 1/2 of an inch. And then you're left with something like that. Okay, and then what we're going to do, determine which side you want where, which one you want to be the top or the bottom. And we are just going to take this connector tab, okay, along with the folded side, we're going to put it along the bottom, or the top, sorry. Okay, so that it kind of looks like that. So that will attach to the page, right? You can open, and then flap. Okay? So then, bring our book back. So then, take your Scor tape off, and now I'm going to turn my book upside down. It's just much easier for me to manage it this way. So this is my page from here to here. I'm going to try to eyeball it and get it in the center. You could measure it and mark it and all that good stuff, but yeah, no thank you. All right, so we stick it down. Now again here, you can use some seam binding ribbon, or you can put another magnet. Right, so this is what I was saying. It will open this way, then open this way, and then you could flip that up, sorry. And then you have 3 more spots for 3 more photos or some journaling. It's just fun. You could use a cute little paper, well, that's maybe what I'll do. Use a cute paper clip to hold that shut. Again, or seam binding or a magnet. All right, so then the pocket is, 5 inches. Sorry, it's 4.5 by 5 inches. You can see I changed it. And you're going to put it in your scoreboard on the 5-inch side and score it 1/2 of an inch on 3 sides. Okay, so since you're expert at making pockets now, we're going to go ahead and just remove the backer of the Scor tape and form the pocket shape. or you can add your art glitter glue. All right, so what I want to do is find out, I want this to line up, even though it's a little bit bigger. They must have did a pretty good job centering that because it looks good. All right, so there's the pocket. One thing I realized right now I should have done, I should have put my pattern paper down before I put the pocket down. You know, I mean, the pocket looks gorgeous and that won't bother me too much. No, I don't think it'll bother me. If I put just a piece of pattern paper right across here, I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. But what I do want to do is add a magnet so that this doesn't, you know, flap open. And again, you can use ribbon or seam binding. I'm just going to go ahead and, wow, these are really hard to get out. Grab a basic gray magnet so that you have a plus on one side, the negative on the other side, positive on one, negative on the other. Remove the backer. Now, let's see. I'm going to put it right about, I don't know, right about here. I don't want to get it too close to the edge because I want to make sure that when I put the pattern paper on, I cover that up. All right, so then I'm just going to go ahead and take this next backer off. Okay. Now that's going to do that until I put the closure on. Excuse me. So then you just lift up, and there you go. You could do that with any pocket, with any flap. Just for a little extra insurance policy, I am just going to add a little, because I have had, these magnets are fantastic, but I have had them let loose. So I always like to add a little extra Scor tape there. Okay. So that is page, what is that? 1, 2, that's page 3. It's coming along nicely. You know, you see this goes pretty quickly. Okay, so for page 4, I just decided I am going to do, excuse me, a little gatefold. I'm going to put it right in the middle. And I will show you how I'm going to, how to do the closure. So, very, very simple. You need 2 pieces. Okay. If you don't want to do the 2 pieces to make the gatefold, you could just do a standard flap. So I need 2 pieces that are 2 3/4 by 3 1/2. So there's 2 of those here. Okay. And then you put this in your scoreboard with 2 3/4 on the top right hand corner and score it 1/2 inch. And you do the same thing for the other one. And then now you can decide where you want to put this on your page. Do you want this up on the top? Do you want it in the middle? You could do it down the bottom. However you want to do it, that's your decision. I think I am going to go, I don't know, maybe right about there. Okay. One thing you can do before you stick this down, if you want to round the corners or if you want to use an edge punch, now's a good time to do it before you stick it to the book. It's still possible to use an edge punch, but it's a little, it's a little clunky. So, wish I'd have thought of that about 5 minutes ago. So, I'm going to turn my book on the side so that I can actually see what I'm doing over here. Okay, so I am going to come down maybe about 1 inch from the top. and put the first flap. Then I'm going to take the second one. This is always the tricky one. I'm going to turn it back this way. Line this up. I don't want to go past the edge. Okay, so there you go. So they're not quite touching. I might have did it a little too close. Let me see. I'm not crazy about that, but let me see if I can do some surgery. Wow, you're getting all kinds of things today. Ooh. Let's see if we can remove this without destroying it. Everybody hold their breath. Minimal damage. Minimal damage, people. Okay. That can get covered up. It's like it never happened. All right. I'm going to put this right back. Put these two up together and stick it down. There we go. That's better. Okay. Whew. All right. Oh no. No. Okay. Whew. Thought I messed it up. I've got that little piece there. So, what I want to do with this closure, so I want to take, let's see, for the closure, I'm going to take a piece of my cardstock. That's 1.5 by 3 inches. And I simply just folded it in half. Okay. Then I'm going to actually take my corner rounder, my crocodile, sorry, not crocodile, corner chomper. I think I'm going to use the 1/4 inch side, and I'm just going to chomp all 4 corners. Now I can't glue this down yet because I don't have the pattern paper on, but what I did, so as I said, I folded it in half. So then I'm going to take a magnet, another set of the 2 magnets, put them together again. And again, it doesn't matter whether you have the positive or the negative on the top or bottom. I'm just going to stick one on this side. Remove the backer. You can put on either side, whatever you want. This side is going to be glued down over here. So this side, it's going to have the magnet so that when this opens, the flap will open. So I'm just going to leave that there for now. Then you can see you can put pattern paper here. You can get a nice 4x6 photo, or you can do, a smaller photo and some journaling. I have to be careful so I don't mess that up. So that is page, what page was that? Page 4. Page 5, you see my beautiful notes. Page 5 is, again, another very simple construction. I wanted it to be really easy so that the fairy paper and the photos shine. So what I plan to do, what I wanted to do with this one, I took one of those dies. This is the larger size die, cut it out of the craft cardstock, or you can just use a piece of cardstock that's 4x6. Put it in my scoreboard on the long side and scored it at 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to, I'll use some art glitter glue since I didn't put any on here. Alright, so I decided to make this a bottom or a downward flap. So I just put some glue on the flap. And these flaps are all over the place. So this is the flap, will come down like this. And what I plan to do is use the smaller die that's just like this, cut it out of the pattern paper and do the same here. This one, actually take some seam binding, put it up here from down here, and so this will have the magnet closure. Oh, actually, let's see. No, it doesn't hit right. Because I was thinking I could play off of this magnet under here and just put one, but it doesn't hit in the right spot. But anyway, I'm going to use ribbon or seam binding, or maybe even some pretty lace to actually close that. But that's just simple. I mean, it has a big impact, but again, you don't have to use a shaped tag. You can just use a regular tag, 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, or 4 by 6, however, whatever size you want it to be. Or if you decide that bottom, downward flaps are not your thing, you can put it up on the top. That works well too. All right, so that's page 5. So you see how quickly this is all coming together. Page number 6. Is going to have two flaps. Excuse me while I grab a quick drink. Okay. So again, you can use these shaped die tags like I did, or you can cut it out of pattern paper and then just round your corners, or use an edge punch. So this is the original size of the die. Whoops, did I use the wrong one? Oh, for the life of me. Okay, anyway, I'll have to cut that down. Found it. Alright, well, okay, so you're going to want 2 tags. Either way, you're going to use the tag-shaped die, or just cut your own tag, 4 inches by 4.5 inches. So you'll want 2 of those. Put them in your scoreboard on the long side and score at 1/2 inch. And do that twice. Okay, and then we're going to want, and I hope this works, it should work. Then you're going to want a piece of cardstock that is 1.5 inches wide by 8 inches tall. We're going to form that into a long skinny pocket. Oops. And put that in your scoreboard with the 1.5 inch, so on the short side, 1.5 inches up on the top right. Scored 1/2 inch on this side, and then 1/2 inch on both short sides, or both long sides, sorry. Okay, so 1/2 inch on 3 sides. And then we're going to do, since we haven't had enough pocket fun today, oh wait, first we need to trim the corners. Okay, just give that just a little trim, little angle. Okay, remove your backer. just like we did before. Ooh, it's really sticky. All right? So we've got this long, skinny, weird kind of little pocket here. What we're going to do, I'm going to turn mine sideways. Now you can decide if you want this pocket to go on the right or if you want it to go on the left. I want mine to come, the tags to go in this way. Okay, so I'm going to line this up pretty close to the edge here. Oh, yikes. So make sure everything stays flat. Okay. And then the idea here is we're going to stick this flap here and it's going to hide underneath there. So it's going to kind of hold the flaps down. Okay. So let's see. Don't know if I want. Yeah, that'll be fine. So it'll hold the flaps. Okay. I'm just going to remove the Scor tape. And I'm just going to save, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of an inch here along the edge. Just a tiny little bit of space. Stick that down. And then what you'll do is just go like that, and that'll hold the flap. Grab the other one. You're going to want to flap this one open because there's going to be some overhang. It's going to flap over. So you want to be careful. So this is the very edge. This is the edge of the last one, or the one you just set down. Right, and here's the Scor line. You don't want to cover over that Scor line because the top one won't close. So you're going to have to make sure that you're just right next to it. That one will flap in there. That one will flap in there. And that holds them in place. Okay. Wait, something went right there. What happened? Oh. Oops, that was my fault. Okay. There we go. All right, so that's all the pages. So for my waterfall, I am going to remove the backing of the Scor tape. Okay, I'm going to turn this again. This is the top side of my book. So I'm going to come down, I don't know, maybe about 1/2 of an inch. Line this up with my pattern paper. And stick it down. That's the first one. The second one, do the same. So now we want to make sure that we, oops, I wish you could see. Okay. So now we want to make sure that we line the second one up with the first one, where the first one ends. Okay, stick that down. All right. Then my third one. You see, you could probably add one more if you wanted to. One more flap. Looks like my edges are all straight. All down here looks to be straight. It's a miracle. It's a Christmas miracle, because I never get them straight the first try. Okay, so then what I was thinking was using one of these tags to actually be my closure. But I think that's a little too big, because I just scored it at 1/2 inch. So I think I want it to be like right here. So I want this domey part to be like right in the center, and I'm going to put a magnet there to hold it down. So I think I'm going to cut about 1 inch off and then score 1/2 inch. So, sorry I'm off camera. Just jumping over here to my paper cutter. Whoa, I almost missed my chair, people. That would have been tragic. Now see, it's still, actually that's not too bad. It's in the center of that one. So let's put this in. Let me give you the measurement there. If you want to make it the same way I did, then your tag is 5 inches wide, or tall, by 4 inches. So it's 4 by 5. 4 inches wide by 5 inches tall. I'm going to put it on the long side in my scoreboard and score at 1/2 inch. Okay. Grab some Scor tape. Oh, dang it. I meant to actually round my corners, but that's okay. I can do that off camera. So I need to determine where do I want the center to be. I couldn't decide if I wanted to bring it all the way here, but I'm going to actually move it to the edge. I don't know. I don't know what I like. What do I like? What do I like? I think I'll do that. I'll take it to the edge of the pattern paper. Okay. So remove the backer or add your Scor tape or your adhesive. Try to keep this straight as I can. Ooh. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. All right, once it's down, it's down. So, that little bugger is getting on my last nerve. Okay, it's that. All right, and then I will, well, crap. That's okay. I'll put some sort of a decorative strip there and there. Actually, I'll put a photo mat right there. That'll cover up those. Right, so let's grab another set of magnets. Get 1 plus. And 1 minus. Okay. We'll remove the backer. I'll put that right about, I don't know, right about there. Looks good. All right. Okay. And the insurance. Wow, that was loud. Okay. So how fun was that? Super quick. Oh, the last thing that you're going to want to do is cut your tags. Because remember, these are top loading. I don't know. I think now that I look at it, I could add one more, because I think there's enough space here to add one more page, but I'm not going to do it. I'll just make sure I put a lot of pretty flowers in there to use up that space. But yeah, I love it. I think it's so cute. Yeah, so I hope you find it easy to do, as easy as I did. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. And thanks for watching. Bye.